Alright, so like I said, we're going to start prepping this car for paint. And in this video, like you saw from the title, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling off these headlight bezels. And I'm going to be pulling off the tail lights. I'm going to pull the grill off. I've got a lot to pull off. I'm pulling off all the trim. All the emblems will be pulled off. The bumpers need to be pulled off. The new bumper fillers need to be mounted. And then I need to put the bumpers back on so that the bumpers can be painted, because on these cars the bumpers are painted to match the body. They're not a satin black, they're a gloss black. If I'm wrong on that, it doesn't matter because I want them gloss black. So I've got to, in order to do that, you've got to pull the bumper off to get those fillers on there, and it's a little bit of a process. But in this video, like I said, we're going to be pulling off the headlight bezels, the tail lights, and the grill. So what I did, first off, you've got to, let's just jump into this. So to pull these bezels off, you have a total of 4 screws. They're Torx driver screws, Torx bit screws. You've got 1, 2 on the top, 2 on the side. I've already went ahead and pulled those off. They are going to be a T15. So once you pull this bezel off, I've already did this, I'm just doing this for the video. You've got a hook up on the side, which is for your side indicator light. You have to twist that off. This comes right off. Now these bezels, I'm replacing them. I've got new ones, actual factory bezels. Paid a lot of money for them, but I'm not shaving any expense on this or sparing any expense on this car. So we're going as much OEM stuff, NOS stuff as I can. I will use reproduction stuff that's high quality, but stuff like this, if I can find them, I'm going to use the NOS stuff, because at the end of the day, it just makes for a better job. So like I said on the other one, you pull those 4 screws off, and then you've got this line right here, and this just twists right off. Not a big deal. Now the one thing I will be doing, when you buy these bezels, for anybody who doesn't know, these indicator lights do not come with the bezels, they're separate. These are a little bit weathered, but I'm going to polish them. I do have a slight crack right there, which is it's not really that noticeable, but I'm going to reuse these until I can come up with some new ones. At the end of the day, if I have to, I will use the reproduction ones. They're $100, and they're spot on as far as for looks and appearance and stuff like that. You would not know that they're repops unless you took them off and you looked at the stamping on them. They're spot on, perfect reproductions. So if I cannot find good quality ones that are not weathered, this should be a brighter yellow. It's weathered from the sun and sitting out. If I can't find perfect ones, then I'll go with the repops. But yeah, so that's how you take those off. Now, one thing I would suggest, if anybody's doing a job like this, or you're doing something along these lines, and a lot of other people on the internet will make reference to this, as you're taking stuff off, all these little screws, I like to put them in a bag and label them. And it just makes it that much easier, because this car is going to be gone for a couple months at paint. And the last thing I want to do is have a million little screws and fasteners and stuff just laying around, because stuff gets lost. And if you want to reuse that hardware, it's beneficial to you to keep track of it and be organized. So now I said we're also going to be doing the grill. We're pulling the grill off, and we're going to pull the taillights off. I'm going to do the taillights first, and then we'll mess with the grill. So moving on to the back, now we're going to go ahead and pull the taillights off. On these taillights, they're really straightforward. Not a whole lot involved. You've got 4 thumb nuts, which you've got 2 right here and 2 closer to the side. So a total of 4 per headlight or tail light, so 8 total. But you just undo these thumb nuts, and these tail lights will come right out. Once you get these thumb nuts off, you are going to have the harness to deal with. as well. If you plan on reusing a lot of your OEM stuff, you're going to want to be really careful. Don't grab a pair of pliers and take these things off, because you're going to crack them. So if you want to retain as much OEM as possible, no matter how tempted you are to use pliers or something, don't. If you can't get them off, get your wife or get your big brother to help you. So once you get those four off, now you're going to be able to come around to the tail light. Looks like I got a trim piece right here on the top. This will stay, but I think I have to pull this one in the middle off in order to pull this out. So I'm going to grab a screwdriver and then we'll get that off there. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled these 3 Phillips off because I thought this was keeping this together, but actually what it was this taillight. I mean, it's been in here 33 years, so it was just basically stuck. These two guys right here were just stuck. So this will actually pull straight out. I cannot emphasize enough how careful you need to be when you're doing this. This is old stuff and you will break it. It's very fragile. But now once you get that out, then you can see you've got these are like twist lock fasteners, and you take those off, those 4 off, and then this tail light will come away free and clear. There's a tab on the bottom. You turn, squeeze that. They'll come right out. Obviously, when you're doing this, you're not going to be filming, so you'll have 2 hands, because what you don't want is this thing to fall on the ground. A good OEM set of taillights can go for as much as $500 or $600 depending on where you're finding them, so you want to be careful when you're taking these apart. So I've got those all free, and there we go. There's my tail light. These are going to be restored properly. I'm going to address the plastic. I'm going to polish the lenses, and these will look as good as they did the day this car was made, and this will keep to the originality of the car, which is important. But in order to get a good high quality paint job, that's something that you have to do. You have to pull this stuff off if you want a high quality paint job. I'm going to end up spending probably $6,000 to $8,000 on this paint job, so I am not cutting any corners, and I'm not taking any chances by leaving things on. These will all be secured properly. That way all your jams and everything like that can be painted and everything like that, so it's period correct. Yeah, so that's one side. Let's go on to the other. It's kind of a rinse and repeat. Obviously, we're not doing anything different. Got the 4 thumb nuts. Like I did on the front, and like I mentioned before, when you guys are taking this stuff off, for me, since I'm going to be away from this car is going to be gone for an extended period of time getting painted, I want to keep track of all these fasteners and everything like that. So what I like to do, and I mentioned that before, is get you some sandwich bags, label them, and then you can keep all your screws and nuts and bolts and everything organized. And especially if you're away from, or I keep on saying away, but if the car's gone for a while, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to remember what's for what. And this also will give me the ability to inspect all the screws and stuff like that, and things that are rusted or stripped or not in good shape will be replaced. So it'll make it easier when you try to find those screws, rather than going to a fastener store and just matching them up. You can go online and, you know, you need some of these, use thumb nut screws or whatever it is, taillight screws. Most of these screws are what's called a black oxide, which is, it's kind of like a chemical treated metal. You know, you don't want to just put a gloss black screw in here or whatever, a steel screw. It's going to rust and it can run down onto the paint, onto the lenses and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you get the proper stuff. So let's get these guys off. Also, when you're doing this is a good opportunity to replace a lot of these bulbs. Get you some new modern LED type bulbs. This is just a 194, and they make a LED version for that, for all these light bulbs, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get into any of the funky taillight conversions. Guys put like LED bulb or boards inside that cut open their taillights and put them in there, and that's not my thing. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to wreck something like this to do something like that. I just don't think it looks good. So we've got the tail lights out, and like I said, I'm going to fasten all this stuff up, and I want to clean all the harnesses and everything like that, but that's down the road. But for today, in this video, I just wanted to show about the headlights, or I keep on saying the headlights, but we pulled the bezels. I am going to pull the actual headlight bulbs. I'm going to pull these because I'm actually going to send these out, and I'm going to have those powder coated black. So these are going to be powder coated black rather than the chrome. It's not noticeable when the bezels are in there, but I just think it's a better look. So those are going to be powder coated black. But we also need to pull out these indicator lights as well. Now these, when you go to pull these out, very easy. You are going to need, these are Torx bit. You're going to need, these are T10. So you're going to need a T10 Torx to pull those out. Because like I said, I'm going to be dropping this bumper, pulling the grill, dropping the bumper, pulling the grill, pulling these out. I'm putting the new bumper fillers in, and then I'm putting the bumper back on because I want this bumper to be painted to match the car. I do not want this in a satin or a semi-gloss. I want it to be a gloss black. It's just something that I want to do. I think it adds to the appearance of the car. When this was brand new off the showroom floor, a lot of people want to debate about this, but this was not a gloss black. It was a satin, almost kind of like the wheel well moldings and stuff like that. It was shiny, but it was not as shiny as the paint. I'm going to make it as shiny as the paint. Now I am not taking these off. These are in perfect condition, but these are plastic. These bumper bump stops or whatever you want to call them, and the studs that come through, they're injected molded on, they all break off. So basically what I would do is I would ruin a perfectly good trim piece by trying to take that off. So I'm going to leave that on there, and that will be something that, unfortunately, there will be a tape line there, which I'm not happy about that, but I would rather have the tape line instead of wrecking this. Now somebody might say, well, you can just put it on with adhesive or whatever, and yeah, I could do that, but I don't think that that's going to hold up long term. I would rather use, and I don't want to get reproduction ones of these, because the newer ones, that's a softer, and they don't hold up, and they're a little bit different. They're not 100% OEM, as far as they're not identical. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. As far as for today's video, we did what I set out. I'm not going to do the grill today, but I just wanted to show you a quick video on the pulling of the bezels and the tail lights. And the next video, like I said, we're going to drop the bumpers. I'm going to pull the front indicator lights out of the bumper once it's pulled off, and then I'm going to be doing the grill too. So thanks for watching. Like I always say, please like and subscribe, turn on your notifications. Any suggestions or anything like that, or any comments, I always look forward to hearing from other people. And yeah, so I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Alright, I lied. So I'm right here, and I got the tool anyway, so let's go ahead and pull these indicators out. Like I said, we're looking at a, this is a T10. You got two screws, one on each side. And well, looking at what I'm seeing, it looks like this is just a trim. And it looks like there's going to be some more screws behind this. So I haven't taken one of these off before. Let me make sure I'm, oh no, okay. So it's a pass-through bolt. What that does is it holds that ring, that trim on. It goes through the light assembly, and then it goes into the bumper. So it kind of gets squished in between. A little bit of jiggling, and that came right out. So we've got two light hookups here and here. Those come right out. There's one. That was easy enough. Now these, all this trim like this, I'm going to be painting this into like a semi-gloss black with trim paint. Or actually, I take that back. They're going to be powder coated, but it's going to be kind of a satin black, similar to the wheel well moldings. This is like a satin or a matte black. So that's what I'm going to be going with on that. I'm going to actually be sending a lot of stuff from the engine compartment out, and it's all going to be powder coated that same color. Now a kit that I bought, just so you guys know, I bought it's a real nice kit. It comes with all the screws for the headlight bezel for each side, and these two bumper brackets or trim rings for the bumper. You get all the screws, and they're OEM replacement screws, and I think I paid like 12 bucks for them, because it's not worth the time to recondition those screws or get them powder coated. So I went ahead and ordered that kit. I've already got those. So here's the other one. Both these lenses are in good shape. Passenger side does have a slight crack in it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to polish it, and then if it eventually I'm going to keep an eye open. I'll use this until I get it, but I'm going to keep an eye open for a factory set of these or a factory replacement for the right side. I'm also kind of kicking back and forth the idea. I won't do it with the tail lights or the headlights, but with these markers, and then the side markers, I'm thinking about getting them kind of smoked, so they have like a tint appearance. Tell me what you think down in the comments below on whether you think I should do that or I should polish them and keep them color correct. But I always liked that tinted look on these. So that's just something to kind of, you know, I was thinking about doing. So alright, I think we'll end it here for today. I gotta make some room and prep for the other stuff, but like I said before, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and we'll talk to you soon, guys. Thank you very much.